They once said that layer 2s are the new layer 1s, but now a bunch of companies are deciding that new layer 1s are the new layer 2s, at least according to Stripe and a few others, but more on that in a bit. Welcome to Cryptocurrents, the weekly podcast of people working in crypto and blockchain talking about everything that's important in crypto and blockchain. No shilling, no FOMO, just important information you need to know. Think of us like the Fantastic Four, except there's only three of us, and our superpower is making you smarter about crypto week over week. I'm your host, Vince, and today I'm joined by Katya from the Mu team
Hi, Vince.
and our resident degen, Kale from the Encrypt team.
What's up?
So I'm glad I got through that intro because I almost made myself laugh. But we'll talk about these layer 2s here in a little bit. First, I want to talk about all the news that's kind of got people excited right now. And kick things off, let's talk about the executive order to allow crypto into 401ks. So the administration said, hey, yeah, we're going to start allowing more assets into 401ks, which gives people, long-term exposure to crypto, which also opens up a lot of opportunity for capital to come into crypto. And this is really interesting. In some of my partner calls over the last week, people abroad have been really excited about that because that's not available to them in the UK, for instance. So what are you guys' thoughts about this?
I love it. Love to hear it. Love to see it. Because the more crypto I can hold, the better.
Kale's 401k is going to be 100% crypto.
Probably. I was going to ask you guys like what percentage you would allocate. But also, like, wasn't I Trust Capital already doing this, or is that something different?
I mean, so typically for 401ks, there's specific assets. Like, I mean, I hope you all have 401ks with our company, how there were like 10 assets you could choose from. So this is just kind of cracking that open and making it more broad, but it still comes down to the providers of being like, hey, are you going to offer this as part of 401k?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's super exciting. I'll take advantage of it.
So are you going to take advantage of it because you like crypto, or you don't like crypto because, at the end of the day, it's not going to actually be like crypto or custody. It's going to be,
Yeah, good point. Well, I mean, at this point, like I've already, like there are two different types of investing, like investing on chain, you have to like actively be paying attention to things and like, especially the projects that I'm putting money to on chain. It's like, those won't even be available in the 401k, first of all.
True. No fart coin in your 401k.
Yeah, no, exactly. And second of all, it's like, yeah, those are just like, there's so much going on chain that it's just, I see them as two different types of investing. So like I would be actively investing on chain, like paying attention to my portfolio. But like something like this, like a 401k, I would feel much more comfortable just putting like Bitcoin and Ethereum and like set a certain amount, however much I can afford every paycheck, and just forget about it until I'm like 50 years old, So,
well, first of all, it's 65. So
whatever the age is, whatever.
Not for him. For him, it's probably going to be like 68 or something.
Yeah, probably.
It's a sliding. Even for you and me, Vince, it's not going to be 65. It's a sliding scale, but it's like moving away.
Up and up.
I'm curious though. I wanted to ask you guys, what would you allocate into a crypto 401k? Like what percentages? Because like me, I think I would do like 50% ETH, 35 Bitcoin. Probably like 10% Solana and 5% something crazy like Hype.
Wait, but this is, you're saying if the 401k
was
is
100%
itself
crypto.
100% crypto.
Ooh, I mean,
it's
for
hard,
me,
right?
like, I'm with you. I would stick to the blue chips like Bitcoin, Ethereum. As it stands now, looking at like my 401k, I'm already like to the hilt on tech stocks. So I have already some exposure to, some of these crypto companies that are out there. So I don't really know if I would necessarily, because, at the end of the day, if I'm putting crypto somewhere, I want it somewhere that's accessible to me. Whether or not, I have it in cold storage or in a self-custody wallet, I want to be able to access it. And accessing funds in your 401k is already a pain in the butt. So I don't really know. I just want to not have that layer of pain in the ass to get to it, but that's me.
That makes sense.
But I do think this is exciting and definitely raises the perception of crypto as being more of an investment vehicle, more of something that is a long-term hold, which I think is also good because that adds stability.
I mean, this is an executive order,
Yeah,
so
not law
it
yet.
may never happen, or maybe a long time before it happens. But I do think it raises a whole series of thoughts about crypto that we're always thinking about. About one of the things about crypto, especially self-custody, is that you kind of have to understand a little bit about what you're doing in order to be able to do it. And I think the way, at least in the United States, people have come to think about 401ks is you don't have to understand that much. It's kind of done for you. This is one of the things that I have struggled and still am honestly struggling with in terms of what is the what is the advantage to 401k over just investing directly. And of course, if your company matches, that's one of the big things. There's also tax considerations. For crypto, companies are not going to be matching crypto. I can tell you that much, at least not anytime soon, even if it is BTC and ETH, because probably companies don't want to take on the responsibility of offering those assets for selection for 401k. They just not going to want to deal with that.
Yeah.
And as you say, Vince, with crypto especially, I, to be honest, feel that way about any kind of asset. I want to have access to it whenever. Like, I am willing to pay in a way for not having a little bit extra money in it in order to have it accessible to me at any time. I don't know, maybe it's my kind of Soviet kind of generational memory that's like a crisis is going to happen any moment now, any moment now, any moment now, and you're like living your life that way. But that's just me. But I think I even though I'm a little bit of like a decentralization maxi, I think here I do agree with the people who are saying people are just going to shoot themselves in the foot and not going to understand, because you should understand when you're dealing with crypto. You should understand with private equity, which is another part of this executive order, to make private. That's another thing that you should understand a little bit more about before you invest into those things. And people are so used to thinking about 401ks as no brainer in a way, because you don't have to watch it. Like Kale says, like you don't have to be actively managing the investment, etc. That I think it's an easy way to let it slide away from people who are going to be. So yeah, I would be cautious about it. But on the other hand, it's like anything else. If you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. Like if you have too much hubris, well, honestly, it's your own fault.
Yeah, and that's a good point about the private equity as someone that has, several speculative investments in illiquid things like private equity, and seeing communities around these like get frustrated that they can't sell their position. It's like, well, no, you should have known that when you signed up. Like
Yeah.
this is a 10-year horizon for this to move. But yeah, and I knew you would bump on the not being able to access it. It's my money and I want it now. Which transitions
I may not
nicely.
Want it now, anytime. I might want it anytime.
Anytime. Like the moment that you're like, I want it, you want it in your hand. Which segues nicely into Gemini, the exchange from the Winklevi, which I'm assuming how you say Winklevosses, because that sounds like a weird water. Teased yesterday a website that people have crawled and like discerned that they're basically going to be launching, spoiler alert, probably a chain and a smart wallet. We know they're doing a smart wallet, and this is all supposed to be announced today or tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Actually, in 7 hours, because right now on the website that they are linking to, that you don't need to, to hack into, but you can see it's actually kind of cute. It's like a green and black terminal Mock-up, you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
That's
I was alive in the
Canto.
90s.
yay. Yay for us. And it says Horizon something, and there's a countdown, and it's midnight UTC, which makes it
Okay.
about 6 to 7 hours away. So yeah, kind of, this is another one. We were doing another podcast the day before something was launched, something Coinbase was doing, and I don't know.
Yeah, for
Coinbase app, yeah.
clarity, it is
Yeah,
currently 10 a.m. Pacific here on August 13th.
yeah. So yeah, at midnight UTC they're gonna launch. But yeah, it's gonna be a self-custody, they think, wallet and a DeFi trading platform. Basically what a self-custody platform like Mu has now.
Yeah.
You log in with your self-custody wallet, you not log in, connect is the more correct term, but you connect with your self-custody wallet and you see the swaps right in there. They're the DEX swaps. So that's kind of what it looks like it might be to start with, at least.
Yeah. And this does kind of speak to a broader move of these centralized exchanges trying to go more decentralized, which I think is weird. It feels like they're shooting themselves in the foot, like they're getting away from their business model, trying to tap into this other business model that has eluded them. And I feel like I want to say like 75% of the users that use Gemini or Coinbase or whatever, if they then go into a self-custody environment via that brand, is going to have this connotation in the back of their mind that it's like, oh, well, if I lose my keys, Coinbase or Gemini will be able to restore it. We'll still be able to restore it, And that's not the case. And I think we're going to see a lot of people get into a lot of trouble.
But wait, so Coinbase did this a while ago. Do you guys know, in terms of actual figures, how it worked out for them? Coinbase Wallet, which is now Base Wallet.
Yeah, true.
So they did that, and I guess it worked out for them. I don't actually know.
I mean, I think they've been able to capture, a more of the degenerate crowd, as we've seen with all of these like base activations. I don't think they're transitioning the normies out of their ecosystem into, these decentralized wallets, self-custody wallets.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of boring to me, honestly. Like the way I see it is like they're running back the same playbook that Binance did and Coinbase did and OKX and crypto.com and literally all of them. They're all doing the same thing. They're like trying to combine centralized finance and decentralized finance in their own way. Kraken did the same thing. They're like building on-chain things and trying to combine their centralized things with it.
But to be fair, everybody's doing that, except in the direction they're doing it depends on where they started from, right? So decentralized finance is reaching for traditional finance through stable coins mainly, and stable coin management, and RWAs and all that stuff. So it's kind of like I'm seeing this visual of kind of like these alien substances, like, growing tentacles towards each other and being like magnetically attracted. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm getting this from.
I can
but
see
like
it.
magnetically being attracted toward each other and intertwining.
Slowly converging. I can see it, yeah. Because I mean, yeah, it makes sense. The more decentralized dApps will become slowly like more centralized, or like do the converging thing with TradFi. And these more TradFi traditional apps will like become more decentralized. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a Gemini user. We'll see what it turns out to be like in a few weeks, but I have a feeling it's just going to be another base Kraken
Kale
thing.
excited like Kraken does.
Yeah,
Look at his face; it lights up immediately.
Yeah, no.
I also just think it kind of speaks to the broader kind of lull in the crypto narrative of being like, well, we can do decentralized finance. And I'm like, that's so 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when was DeFi summer? Like there's just kind of a lack of innovation. I feel like we're finally, knock on wood, getting away from like the speculation and trading of the meme coins, and now we're just going back to DeFi. Like, come
I
on,
feel
there's
like
got to be
it's
something more interesting.
I feel like it's the regulatory clarity. It's got to be
Yeah,
what it is, right? Like all of these companies probably wanted to do this 4 years ago, but
maybe.
they were like getting dunked
At the
on.
same time, they're getting regulatory clarity and now just being like, yeah, but what if we do, decentralized stuff? Like, that doesn't need regulatory clarity. It's
Yeah.
like, let's go on chain into the back into the outer reaches of outer space. And then they're like, oh, wait, I don't know.
I
Crime is
think it's
legal season.
just for all players, it's a feeling of FOMO, for lack
Mhm.
of a better word, just being concerned, not knowing, because DeFi and TradFi is becoming so kind of mixed together, and stable coins and tokenization. And I think now they don't know where the chips are going to fall, because whether the kind of traditional centralized part of it is gonna pop off because more people are used to it, because more institutions are comfortable with that, or it's gonna be because tokenization and stablecoins are going to demonstrate the power of DeFi so much that it's actually going to lean into DeFi, and it's going to be more regulated on the DeFi side, but it is going to be DeFi. And I think maybe they're just concerned on not having a foot in the right side
True.
when the chips do fall. And so they are just scrambling to, like I said, if they
Hedge their bets, basically.
yeah, like if exactly, yeah, if they started out as a big centralized platform, they want to have a foot in the straight up DeFi space. And if they started as a straight up DeFi thing, they want to make sure they're going to support all of the stable coins and all of the layer ones, and all of the tokenization and all of the RWA stocks, whatever. So they want to make sure that they are prepared for that. So I think it's just people trying to hedge and be prepared for any direction that crypto takes.
That's true.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But speaking about, decentralized apps and all of that, let's talk about Zora, shall we? So Zora is, I guess, the newest app to launch, get a bunch of hype at, and then out of nowhere, Vitalik comes and starts like talking shit. And I thought that was very interesting. And he was like really bullish on it till he got to the onboarding where it's like, now verify with an email. And kind of, I can't imagine being like the social media person at Zora who like sees that tweet come in and then has to be like, oh no, what do we do?
Yeah, they
So
were panicking for sure.
yeah, Kale, talk to me about the drama.
Yeah, so I guess so there's a crypto Twitter influencer. His name is Ansem. He made a random poll talking about Zora, and Vitalik chimed in. The poll was just something like how do you feel about Zora, or something like really simple.
Yeah.
And Vitalik chimed in. He like did the process, was making an account, and like you said, he got to the part where it was like, oh, to complete your account, add an email address. And so he called them out on Twitter. He like sent a screenshot and he was like, hey guys, like cool app, I love it so far, but like why do I need an email address to log in? Like literally we built this whole ecosystem so that we don't need email addresses. And so they were like going back and forth on Twitter for a little bit, the founders versus Vitalik. And I say versus, but it was very like lighthearted. It was more like
it was a
feedback.
conversation, for sure.
And basically, I mean, I kind of agree with both, honestly, because Vitalik's coming from the standpoint of like pure cryptography.
Yep.
He's like, we don't need it to be easy to onboard Web2. We need to give them a wallet address, and like you connect with your wallet and you recover your account with your wallet. That's what Vitalik wants. And the founders were basically arguing that like, yeah, well, we've tried that. We've tried different ways. This is the best way to do it. Trust us. You're not building apps, Vitalik. We're the ones building apps. If you want to onboard Web2, this is the best way we found. You like onboard them with an email, and then you can add a wallet to that email.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Like I see where he's coming from. Like it makes sense. We need it to be easier for the normies who don't want to deal with wallets. But yeah, also the whole point of Ethereum was to like do things decentralized. So I don't know.
Mhm.
Like I'm conflicted about it. But Vitalik has a point. They both have a point. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't
No, I
know.
agree. Katya, what are your thoughts on this? Boys will be boys.
I mean, I agree with Vitalik. I think honestly, I kind of agree with him most of the time. mm, at least with the things he he posts publicly, because I feel like he has a very measured way
Mhm.
of speaking out publicly on things that are easy to agree with. Like he's not usually or ever radical in any way about what he says and
Yeah.
justifies his opinions. But from my understanding, I might be wrong, but from what I saw from the screenshots, I haven't used Zora myself. I don't have an account. But you can't proceed without
Yeah.
giving your email, which, to be honest, just irritates the heck out of me on any
Yeah.
app. Like those apps where you install it and you can't even see the interface without giving your email first. Just I start like my eyes start twitching because they want to harvest your attention even before you know whether it's worth your time.
Yeah.
So that's something that I feel that the blockchain community can and should try to move past, whatever the solutions that you're trying to do. And a wallet, in many ways, because a self custody wallet, is anonymous initially, unless you're doing something that requires KYC, but initially. So at least you can interact with the chain anonymously until you want to do something that involves regulations. Um, um, so, which I think is an important aspect of it and
Mhm.
something that we should try to take advantage of. And my argument is always when people say, well, this is the way it is. And if everyone always acquiesced to the status quo, to the way things are, literally nothing would ever change.
Yeah.
And as a woman, the boring but illustrative example that I always give is women's rights, voting rights, the fact that a woman in the 1970s, could not get a credit card by herself unless she got undersigned by her father or her husband. Um, Things like that change when people decide that they can't accept the way the things are anymore. So I am a little bit of a idealist with a soapbox with this kind of thing. And I understand the arguments. I understand the argument if you can't change things if you have three users and you're not going to have any influence in the space. So to get
Yeah.
influence in the space, you got to get the users and then you can change things. I understand and it makes sense, but I'm an idealist when it comes to these things. I do, and I do like to see people take a stand on something like this. So yeah, it's just making more of the same.
Yeah.
Like what's the difference with Facebook in the end?
Build for the future you want and not the moment of the now, I think is interesting. And it's funny, uh Kale mentioned something and you talk about, onboarding people into crypto. And I just had a thought because I was reading the other day that only like 60% of Americans own stock.
Mm.
And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So I mean, what percentage of the world needs to actually use crypto for us to be like, we did it, we succeeded?
Mm.
Because I mean, it's definitely lower than that, I would assume. But
But
I
also,
just,
that's not that high. So, I mean, 60% is high, but it's not like 95%, right?
I thought it was low. I was like, oh, it's got to be like 80%. Like,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm saying so the bar is for it to be normal
yeah.
is not as far as maybe we think.
Yeah, exactly. So, and at the same time, maybe we don't have to onboard everyone. We don't have to cater to the normies. We have to cater to the people that are in it for the long haul, and then they'll bring everyone else eventually.
And you know what else I realized the other day in conversation with Kale, we were talking about this trope of saying, your grandma can do it in crypto when you want to say something. It's so easy that your grandma should be able to do it. And I always say, like, leave the grandma alone. Like, my grandma, she's never, forget her. She's not who you're interested in.
Yeah.
But you know something else? The OGs, the crypto OGs, who were not 16 when crypto started, but who were already adults when crypto started, they're going to be grandparents soon. I'm sure some are already. So it's like you're saying, building for the future. We are already in the stage where people who are crypto natives have children and even grandchildren that they can pass this knowledge on to and initiate them at least into the appreciation and understanding of crypto. So we are getting to that time. We are not all like 20-year-old degens anymore in the
No.
space.
Definitely not.
So yeah, so I think that's also an interesting thing to think about, that
I like
the
that
next,
take.
there is maybe not too many people, but there is a next generation that's growing up with crypto parents already.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
true. Vitalik's dad is all over Twitter. That guy's,
Well,
that
I
guy's
mean,
super dope.
Vitalik's dad, honestly, it would be shameful if he wasn't.
True.
We have photos of him at our booth at East
I
Denver
know.
too.
Yeah.
And so this brings me to our final topic. Let's talk about L1s, shall we? So Stripe and apparently Circle both announced that they're going to be launching their own L1.
Ooh.
And I'm with you, Kale. I think this is very silly. Like, we've worked with Stripe before for their on-ramping. And if you recall, last, start of a crypto winter, they immediately fired their entire crypto staff. So I think it's just indicative of their underlying business model of, like, when crypto's up, they're all in. And then when it's down, they're like, nope. And just pull up stakes. And Circle, yeah, I'm more bullish on, but I don't know why we need another layer one. We've got Ethereum, which is the most battle tested one we've got. But I think it's just kind of silly that everyone's just like, how can we print money out of thin air? And at least it's something a little bit more innovative than another L2 that just scales on Ethereum. But talk to me, guys. Am I up in the night? I mean, Kale booed. Say more besides boo.
Yeah. I mean, I hate it, honestly. Both of them. Like, okay, so Stripe is doing an L1, Circle's doing an L1. The whole point of crypto, at least in my eyes, was, like I said a few minutes ago, was to do all of these things on a decentralized layer. And so for a centralized company like this to just come in and like ignore Ethereum, ignore everything and be like, hey, no, we're doing our own. We're doing Ethereum 2.0. Trust us. This is the thing. First of all, I don't think it's gonna work long run.
Mhm.
I feel like they're probably like, so they had three options. Most likely, they could build a chain, they could partner with a chain, or they could just buy a chain, like buy Monad or buy Berachain or something. But they decided to build their own chain. It's probably the cheapest, and I think they're probably just like trying to get their feet wet and like figure out how this space works.
Mhm.
And eventually, over time, they'll end up as an ETH L2. That's like my prediction. But the thing I hate the most about it is that Circle specifically, they're in charge of USDC.
Mhm.
So it's almost as if like now that stablecoins are like have the trajectory that they do, and they're basically like everyone knows they're not going anywhere. Stablecoins are the next wave in finance. And Circle is like the main issuer of those, right? They're like saying like, okay, never mind Ethereum. Don't do all the stablecoins over there. We're going to do all the stablecoins on our stuff on Circle.
Mhm.
And the gas for Circle is USDC. So like to do anything on the Circle chain, you need USDC, which they can blacklist you from. So they can just blacklist any wallet from using USDC, and then that wallet can't do anything on the chain because you can't interact. You don't have the gas token.
Right.
So I don't know. It just seems like a big mess, and I see them moving on to Ethereum as an L2 in time. And as of right now, I like I hate the current iteration, but I feel like to give them the benefit of the doubt, they're probably just building their own L1 because they didn't want to partner or buy one, and they're probably just getting their feet wet. But we'll see.
Katya?
I'm thinking now about something Olga said on the podcast that you guys did when I was out about how she is irritated by all these L2s like wanting to be everything. Like you get this L2 and then it wants to do this and that and it wants to build. And I think the idea is similar because the purpose is to the in the grander scheme of the EVM ecosystem, the purpose of L2s is to expedite settlement, but the security and the main settlement is still on Ethereum. That
Mhm.
is the idea, right? Because then the L2 doesn't have to build out its own, doesn't have to be as secure as Ethereum, because then in the end, these packages are being settled, finalized on Ethereum, which is kind of the idea of these constellation blockchain models. But yeah, I agree with Kale. It's like I read today that as of now, the most USDC volume, even though it exists on multiple networks, the most USDC volume is on Ethereum.
Mhm.
And it's kind of just, kind of vampire pulling volume and saying, okay, it's going to be on our chain now. But again, I agree also with Kale that people understand this is centralized crap.
Yeah.
They so I wonder if it doesn't backfire
Hmm.
for USDC, like for people to go towards USDT or something else, or an entirely decentralized, because they're like, okay, they are controlling this chain now. They are controlling the USDC on their chain, but they also have the power to blacklist the USDC based on ETH because it carries the marker, right? That token, that it's
Yeah.
Ethereum based USDC. So even if people are going to be like, I'm not going to use what is it called? Arc circle?
Tempo?
Yeah,
One of them
arc.
is Arc.
Yeah.
Oh, oh.
One of them
It's
is
tempo
Tempo.
for Stripe and
Yeah,
arc for
Arc is the,
circle. So yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to use the arc USDC. I'm still going to use the Ethereum USDC because I trust it more. But I do think I'm not a developer, but I do believe that they would have the ability to block that USDC from participating in their yield or whatever they want to do
Mhm.
ecosystems. And so I wonder if some, at least maxi people, are going to be like, I'm just going to move all of my USDC into another stable coin because I don't want to know what's going to happen when they decide to do whatever. So I feel like it's kind of being when you are so entrenched in the Ethereum ecosystem and the EVM ecosystem, it's kind of dangerous to make blatantly wealth grabbing plays.
Yeah.
Because you have an audience that I don't know what percent of it, obviously none of us know, but I think a substantial percent of it is sensitive to that kind of look.
Yeah. I agree. And you know what looks I'm also sensitive to? The looks I give you when we reach the end of our episode. Thank you, dear listener, for taking the time out of your day to listen to us. We hope you feel smarter because you should be. Let us know what you thought of the show. All of our Twitter handles are in the description and maybe on the video right now. I'm not sure. Make sure you follow us wherever you can. Leave a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts, and we will see you in the next episode.
Bye.